The stars shimmered against the darkness of space as the massive Vaxari warship glided silently through the void. Its surface rippled with strange biomechanical patterns, looking almost alive. Inside the command chamber, Supreme Commander Ozarax watched the holographic display of their latest conquest. The Nebulon civilization had surrendered after only 3 days of resistance. "Another victory for the Dominion," said his second-in-command, Xylar. 47 galaxies now bow to us." Ozarax's 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture of satisfaction among his kind. Was there ever any doubt? The pattern never changes. We arrive, they fight, they fall. The Vaxari Dominion had spent the last 300 years expanding across the cosmos. No civilization had ever truly challenged them. Their bioships, powered by technology that merged machine and living tissue, outmatched all opponents. Most species surrendered after the first demonstration of Vaxari power. On the lower decks of the flagship, workers processed data from the newly conquered worlds and prepared for the next target. The Vaxari operated with perfect efficiency. They were tall, gray-skinned beings with multiple eyes and 4 arms, evolved for conquest and adaptation. Supreme Commander, called a navigator, the Council has transmitted our next directive. Ozarax moved to the central platform where a 3-dimensional map appeared. "The Milky Way," he said, studying the spiral galaxy. "What intelligence do we have?" The ship's information officer, a smaller Vaxari named Kelser, stepped forward. "A standard spiral galaxy with approximately 400 billion stars. Our deep space probes detected radio signals from a single system. Only one spacefaring race." Asked Ozarax. "Correct, Supreme Commander. They call themselves humans. They occupy the 3rd planet of a yellow star system and have established small colonies on their 4th planet and natural satellite." Ozarax felt something close to disappointment. "Another primitive species. Show me their capabilities." The hologram shifted to display images of Earth's cities, orbital stations, and defensive ships. The Vaxari command staff made small sounds that served as their version of laughter. "Their vessels are powered by chemical rockets and basic fusion drives," Kelser continued. "They have no faster-than-light travel, though they appear to be researching it. Their weapons are primarily kinetic and nuclear. Planetary defenses consist of missile systems and a small fleet of military vessels." Xylar gestured dismissively. "Not even worth a full invasion force. A standard subjugation fleet should suffice." Ozarax considered this assessment. "The Council expects us to maintain protocol regardless of the target's development level. Prepare a scout team to investigate their defensive capabilities directly." "As you command," Xylar responded, transmitting orders throughout the ship. Within hours, 3 Vaxari scout ships detached from the main fleet. Their biomechanical hulls shifted color to match the darkness of space as they entered the wormhole that would take them to the edge of Sol's system. "How long until the scouts return with their assessment?" Ozarax asked. "Approximately 9 cycles, Supreme Commander," said Kelser. "And then another simple victory," added Xylar confidently. Ozarax nodded but felt a strange sensation he couldn't identify. In 3 centuries of conquest across 47 galaxies, he had never encountered a species that presented a true challenge. Perhaps that was why he felt this unusual disturbance in his thoughts. Not concern, surely, but something like boredom. "Prepare the invasion fleet," he ordered. "I will personally oversee this conquest." Xylar seemed surprised. "Is that necessary for such a minor species?" "The Council expects thorough work," Ozarax replied. "And I find myself curious about these humans." As the massive Vaxari armada began preparations for yet another seemingly effortless conquest, none of them suspected that their perfect record was about to face its first real test. The small blue planet, insignificant by their standards, would soon change the course of their unstoppable empire in ways they could never have imagined. Captain Samantha Wright stood on the bridge of the United Earth Defense Force ship *, Defiant *. gazing at Neptune's blue swirls through the main viewport. The patrol near the outer planets was routine, almost boring. 6 months into her command, and the most exciting event had been a small asteroid deflection exercise. Another quiet day defending humanity from the terrors of empty space, she said with a small smile. Lieutenant Daniel Freeman looked up from his science station. "Would you prefer an alien invasion, Captain?" "At least it would give us something to write in the log," she replied. The bridge crew laughed. The Defiant Asterisk was one of Earth's newest vessels, equipped with experimental shield technology based on quantum field manipulation. It was designed to protect deep space exploration missions, though many in the military had questioned the expense for defensive systems when no threats had been encountered in space. "Captain," called Officer Paul Kelly from the sensor station, his voice suddenly serious. "I'm detecting unusual energy readings near Pluto's orbit." Wright straightened in her chair. "Define unusual, Officer Kelly." "Nothing in our database matches this pattern. It's like space is folding on itself." Lieutenant Freeman moved to the sensor station. "These readings suggest some kind of artificial wormhole formation, but that's impossible with our current understanding of physics." "Put it on screen," Wright ordered. The main display showed empty space, then a sudden distortion appeared. Light bent around a growing tear in the fabric of space. The bridge fell silent as 3 sleek vessels emerged from the distortion. They were unlike anything humans had ever built. Their hulls seemed to pulse with veins of light, more like living creatures than ships. "Are they transmitting any signals?" Wright asked. Communications Officer Gina Martinez shook her head. "Nothing on any frequency we can detect, Captain." "Send standard first contact greeting package on all channels." As Martinez transmitted the carefully crafted message of peace that all Earth ships carried for potential first contact situations, Wright studied the alien vessels. They were clearly advanced, perhaps centuries beyond Earth technology. "They're scanning us," Freeman reported. "Intense energy suites." "Maintain position," Wright ordered. "Let's not appear threatening." The alien ships suddenly accelerated toward the Defiant Asterisk. Before Wright could react, bright beams of energy erupted from the lead vessel, striking the human ship directly. "Shields holding at 82%, called the tactical officer, surprise evident in his voice. "Return fire," Wright commanded. "Target the lead vessel's weapon systems only." The Defiance laser arrays fired, striking the first alien ship. To everyone's surprise, the vessel's hull ruptured much more easily than expected. Secondary explosions cascaded across its surface. "Direct hit," the tactical officer reported. "Their hull integrity is failing." The damaged alien ship tried to retreat while the other 2 fired again. The Defiant shuddered under the assault, but the experimental shields continued to hold. "Shields at 64%, Captain," Freeman reported. "Whatever they're firing, our quantum field is dispersing most of the energy." Wright made a quick decision. "Fire again, same target." The Defiance second volley struck the damaged alien ship, breaking it apart in a silent explosion. The remaining 2 vessels immediately stopped firing and retreated toward the spatial distortion, disappearing as quickly as they had arrived. "Did we just—" Martinez couldn't finish her sentence. "Win?" Wright said quietly. "I think we did." Freeman looked up from his station, face pale. "Captain, I believe we just made first contact with an alien species and destroyed one of their ships." Wright nodded grimly. "Set course for Earth, maximum speed. We need to report this immediately." As the Defiant turned toward home, Wright stared at the empty space where the alien ships had vanished. She knew, with absolute certainty, that they would return. And next time, they wouldn't underestimate humanity. Supreme Commander Ozrak stared at the battle recording for the 5th time. The small human vessel had destroyed a Vaxari scout ship and damaged another before the survivors retreated. In 300 years of conquest, This had never happened before. "Play it again," he ordered. The holographic display showed the human ship absorbing the Vaxari energy weapons, then returning fire with surprising accuracy. Ozarax's 6 eyes narrowed as he studied the footage. "Impossible," said Xylar, watching beside him. "Their technology is primitive. They should not have survived the first attack." Ozarax pointed to the energy readings. "Their shields operate on principles we haven't encountered before. Some kind of quantum field manipulation." Across the galaxy, Earth was preparing for war. Admiral Lisa Boyd stood in the United Earth Defense Force headquarters beneath the Rocky Mountains, addressing the Emergency Council. "The Defiant will reach Earth in 6 hours," she said to the room full of military leaders and government officials. "Captain Wright's report confirms what we feared. We are not alone, and our first contact was hostile." Dr. Alan Carter, lead scientist for the Quantum Shield Project, stepped forward. "The good news is that our experimental shields work against their weapons. The battle data suggests the aliens use directed plasma energy, which our quantum fields naturally disperse." "Can we duplicate the shields for the rest of our fleet?" asked Boyd. Carter nodded. "We've already started. Every ship in Earth's defense force will have them within 2 weeks." "We may not have 2 weeks," said a general. "If these aliens followed typical invasion protocols, they'll return with a larger force." In space, the Defiant approached Earth. Captain Wright sat in her quarters reviewing the battle footage. There was something odd about how easily the alien ship had been destroyed. Their weapons were incredibly advanced, but their hull had shattered after just 2 hits. A knock on her door interrupted her thoughts. Lieutenant Freeman entered with a tablet. "Captain, I've analyzed the debris scan we took before leaving," he said. "Their ships are partially biological. They're some kind of biomechanical hybrid." Wright sat up straight. "That explains their vulnerability. Our lasers didn't just damage their hull. They damaged living tissue." "Exactly," Freeman replied. "Their technology is far beyond ours, but they've sacrificed durability for other advantages." Meanwhile, in the Vaxari fleet, Ozarax made his decision. "Prepare the main invasion force. We will not underestimate these humans again." Xylar seemed concerned. "Supreme Commander, perhaps we should gather more intelligence first." "No," Ozarax said firmly. "The Dominion cannot show weakness. We will crush them quickly with overwhelming force, as we have done hundreds of times before." Back on Earth, the Defiant docked at the Orbital Defense Station. Captain Wright was immediately taken to UEDF headquarters, where she presented her report to Admiral Boyd and the Defense Council. "We got lucky," Wright concluded. "They weren't expecting resistance. Next time will be different." Boyd nodded grimly. "Captain Wright, we're assigning you to our newest vessel. The Intrepid was just completed and incorporates everything we learned from your encounter." "What about my crew?" Wright asked. "They're coming with you. We need experienced people who have faced these aliens before." Dr. Carter joined them with a holographic display. "We've also developed this based on your battle data. It's an electromagnetic pulse weapon calibrated to disrupt their biomechanical systems." Wright studied the weapon design. "Will it work?" "In theory," Carter said. "We won't know until we try it." In deep space, the Vaxari invasion fleet emerged from multiple wormholes. 50 destroyer-class bioships surrounded the massive dreadnought Inevitable Conquest *. On its command deck, Ozarax viewed the distant yellow star that was humanity's sun. "Set course for the human solar system," he ordered. "This will be another victory for the Dominion." But deep inside, for the first time in his long career of conquest, Ozarax felt something new, the faintest trace of uncertainty. 3 weeks after the first encounter, alarms blared throughout Earth's defense network. Massive energy readings appeared near Jupiter as dozens of wormholes tore open the fabric of space. 50 Vaxari destroyers emerged, followed by an enormous dreadnought that dwarfed them all. In the lunar defense base, Admiral Boyd watched the sensor readings with a grim expression. "They're here," Alert all defense forces. Earth's military had worked day and night preparing for this moment. Every ship in the fleet now carried quantum shields, and civilian populations had been moved to underground shelters. It wouldn't be enough against such overwhelming force, but humanity would not surrender without a fight. On the bridge of the Intrepid Asterisk, Captain Wright studied the tactical display. Her new ship was Earth's most advanced vessel, 3 times the size of the Defiant Asterisk with improved weapons, and the experimental EMP cannon Dr. Carter had designed. "All stations report ready, Captain," said Lieutenant Freeman from his science station. Wright nodded. "Signal the fleet. We move to intercept near Mars orbit." The human defense fleet consisted of 30 vessels arranged in a defensive formation. They seemed tiny compared to the approaching Vaxari Armada, but each ship carried the shield technology that had proven effective in the first encounter. Aboard the Inevitable Conquest Asterisk, Supreme Commander Ozarax watched the human ships move into position. They intend to fight rather than surrender. "Interesting. Their resistance is futile," said Xylar. "Our weapons have been recalibrated. Their shields will not save them this time." Ozarax gave the order. "Begin the attack. Show no mercy." The Vaxari fleet accelerated toward Mars, energy weapons charging. The human fleet held position, waiting for the aliens to come within range. "All ships, hold fire until my command," Wright ordered over the fleet channel. "Remember your training." The space between Mars and Jupiter lit up as the Vaxari opened fire. Brilliant beams of energy struck the human vessels. Shields glowed and sparked as they absorbed the attack. "Shields holding at 72%, reported the tactical officer. "Their weapons are stronger than before." Wright nodded. "Return fire. All ships, target the nearest destroyer." Earth's fleet fired in unison. Lasers and missiles streaked toward the lead Vaxari vessel. Its biomechanical hull absorbed the first hits, but began to rupture under the concentrated assault. On the Vaxari command ship, Ozarax watched in disbelief as one of his destroyers exploded. "Impossible. They should not be able to resist us." "Supreme Commander," called a tactical officer, "their shields are different from any we have encountered. Our weapons are not penetrating as expected." The battle raged across Mars orbit. 3 human ships were destroyed, but they took down 5 Vaxari vessels in exchange. This was not the easy victory the Dominion had expected. "Press the attack," Ozarax ordered. "Move the destroyers forward and prepare the dreadnought's main cannon." As the Vaxari fleet advanced, Wright saw an opportunity. "All ships, execute Maneuver Delta. Focus fire on their flanking vessels." The human fleet split into 3 groups, attacking from multiple angles. More Vaxari ships fell under the coordinated assault. For the first time in centuries, the Dominion's perfect battle formation broke as ships moved to defend against attacks from unexpected directions. "Supreme Commander," urged Tylar, "we should withdraw and regroup. These humans fight unlike any species we have encountered." Ozarax's 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of his confusion. "Tactical withdrawal. Pull back beyond their moon's orbit." To the amazement of the human fleet, the Vaxari ships began to retreat, moving back toward Jupiter's orbit. On the Intrepid's Asterisk bridge, the crew could hardly believe what they were seeing. "They're retreating," Freeman said in disbelief. "We actually drove them back." Wright nodded slowly. "For now. But they'll return with a new strategy." She turned to her communications officer. "Signal Admiral Boyd. We need to prepare for their next attack." As Earth celebrated this unexpected victory, Wright knew the real battle had only just begun. Supreme Commander Ozarax paced the command deck of the Inevitable Conquest Asterisk. His 6 eyes burned with anger and confusion. The retreat had been necessary, but it stained the perfect record of the Vaxari Dominion. "Bring Nexus 7 to me," he ordered. Minutes later, a smaller Vaxari with specialized neural implants entered. Nexus 7 was the fleet's intelligence analyst, responsible for understanding enemy species. "You failed to predict the humans' resistance," Ozarax accused. Nexus 7 bowed slightly. Supreme Commander, I have analyzed their historical records from their communication networks. These humans are unusual. Explain. Unlike most species we have conquered, humans evolved through conflict rather than cooperation. Their entire history is filled with warfare. While other species developed technology through peaceful means, humans created many of their advances specifically for combat. Ozarax considered this. You are saying they are naturally warlike. More than that, Nexus 7 continued. They are remarkably adaptable. Their short lives and constant conflict forced them to innovate quickly. The shields that stopped our weapons were originally designed for deep space exploration, but they immediately repurposed them for defense. Meanwhile, aboard the Intrepid Asterisk, Captain Wright met with Dr. Carter in the ship's lab. The battle had given them valuable data about the Vaxari technology. Their bioships have a unique weakness, Carter explained, pointing to scan results on his screen. The neural networks that control their vessels are sensitive to electromagnetic disruption. If we can hit them with a precisely tuned EMP, we might disable their ships without destroying them. Wright studied the diagrams. Can the weapon you designed do that? In theory, yes, but we need to get close to their dreadnought. The smaller ships have backup systems, but our scans suggest the command ship relies more heavily on its primary neural network. In lunar orbit, Admiral Boyd coordinated Earth's defense forces. Reports from Mars and the moon colonies showed the Vaxari were regrouping. Their weapons were being modified, which meant they might overcome the quantum shields in the next attack. We need a plan, she told her staff. The Vaxari won't underestimate us again. A colonel spoke up. We could evacuate more civilians to the underground facilities on Earth. Not enough time, Boyd replied. And it would signal that we expect to lose. I want an offensive plan. On the Intrepid Asterisk, Wright called her senior officers together. Dr. Carter believes we have a chance to disable the Vaxari command ship with the EMP cannon, but we need to get close enough to use it. Lieutenant Freeman studied the tactical display. Their dreadnought is heavily protected. We'd never reach it through their defensive line. Unless we don't try to break through, Wright said. What if we use Jupiter? She pointed to the gas giant's position. Jupiter's magnetic field is intense. If we position ourselves here, then use its gravity to slingshot around to this position, we could appear behind their dreadnought before they can react. It's risky, said the tactical officer. The gravitational forces could tear us apart if our timing is off. Wright nodded. High risk, high reward. I'm volunteering the Intrepid Asterisk for this mission. Back on the Vaxari dreadnought, engineers modified their weapons based on the battle data. Ozarax watched as Tyler reported their progress. The new frequencies should penetrate their shields, Tyler said. We will crush them in the next attack. Ozarax stared at the holographic image of Earth. Prepare all ships. We attack in 6 hours. Supreme Commander, Nexus 7 interjected. I recommend caution. These humans. Enough. Ozarax interrupted. No primitive species defeats the Dominion. We will show no mercy this time. But as he gave the orders, Ozarax felt something he had never experienced in centuries of conquest. The slight tremor of his hands. The first physical sign of doubt in a Vaxari commander. The Vaxari fleet moved toward Earth with their weapons upgraded. 50 bioships formed an attack pattern with a massive dreadnought asterisk, inevitable conquest asterisk protected at the center. They expected an easy victory this time. They were wrong. Earth's colonies on Mars and the Moon came under attack first. The new Vaxari weapons pierced the human shields more effectively than before. 3 defense stations around Mars fell within the first hour. The Moon base sent desperate calls for help as their outer defenses crumbled. Admiral Boyd watched from Lunar Command as the situation grew dire. Where is the Intrepid Asterisk? She asked her staff. Captain Wright's team is in position near Jupiter, waiting for the right moment, an officer replied. Tell them to move now. We can't hold much longer. Near Jupiter's swirling clouds, the Intrepid and two smaller ships waited in the shadow of the gas giant. The massive planet hid them from Vaxari sensors as they prepared for their desperate mission. On the bridge, Captain Wright received the message from Lunar Command. "It's time," she told her crew. "All systems ready for slingshot maneuver." Lieutenant Freeman spoke from his station. "Captain, the gravitational calculations are complete, but the margin for error is tiny." "Then we won't make errors," Wright said simply. "All hands, secure for extreme G-forces. Engineering, push the engines to maximum on my mark." The Intrepid moved closer to Jupiter's gravity well, its engines glowing bright blue against the darkness of space. The two escort ships flanked it in perfect formation. "Mark," Wright called. The three ships fired their engines at full power, while Jupiter's enormous gravity pulled them into a slingshot trajectory. The maneuver subjected the ships and crews to crushing forces, but the vessels held together as they whipped around the planet at incredible speed. On the Inevitable Conquest Ozarax watched as his forces pressed the attack on the human defenses. "The Earth fleet is scattered. Victory is nearly ours." A warning alarm suddenly blared. "Supreme Commander," called a sensor officer in panic. "3 human vessels have appeared behind us." "Impossible," Sylar shouted. But the tactical display confirmed it. The human ships had somehow used Jupiter's gravity to bypass the Vaxari defensive line, placing them directly behind the vulnerable rear section of the dreadnought. "Evasive action," Ozarax ordered, but the massive dreadnought was too slow to turn quickly. On the Intrepid Wright gave the order they had been waiting for. "Target their neural hub. Fire the EMP cannon." Dr. Carter, monitoring from engineering, calibrated the weapon to the exact frequency they had calculated. EMP charged and ready. The Intrepid's main weapon fired. There was no visible beam, no explosion. Just a wave of electromagnetic energy that washed over the Vaxari dreadnought. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the lights across the massive alien ship flickered and went dark. The biomechanical vessel shuddered as its neural network failed. "Direct hit," Freeman called out. "Their systems are going offline." Wright didn't waste the opportunity. "All ships, target their engine section and weapons arrays. Conventional weapons, full spread." The 3 human ships fired everything they had at the temporarily disabled dreadnought. Lasers and missiles struck the vulnerable sections of the massive vessel, causing explosions to bloom across its surface. Inside the Inevitable Conquest chaos reigned. Emergency lights cast an eerie glow as systems failed throughout the ship. Ozarax struggled to maintain control as the neural interface with his vessel collapsed. "Restore power," he shouted. "Redirect from auxiliary systems." "The neural network is paralyzed," a technician reported. "We've lost control of 60% of the ship's functions." As the human weapons continued to pound the dreadnought, Ozarax felt something entirely alien to a Vaxari commander. Fear. For the first time in his centuries-long career of conquest, he faced not just defeat, but destruction. "All remaining destroyers," he commanded, "protect the flagship. We must retreat." The damaged Vaxari dreadnought limped away from Earth, surrounded by its remaining destroyer escorts. Nearly half the invasion fleet had been destroyed or disabled in the battle. For the first time in Vaxari history, a conquest had failed. Captain Wright watched from the bridge of the Intrepid as the alien ships retreated. Her own vessel had taken heavy damage during the attack. Emergency repairs were underway, but they had accomplished their mission. "We did it," Freeman said quietly, almost unable to believe it. Wright nodded, her expression serious. "For now. But we need to understand them better if we want to survive long-term." She turned to her tactical officer. "Are there any disabled Vaxari ships within boarding range?" "Yes, Captain. One of their destroyers is floating dead near Mars orbit. Its neural network was affected by our EMP, but the crew might still be alive." Wright made a quick decision. Prepare a boarding team. I'll lead it myself. Despite protests from her officers, Wright took a small team across to the alien vessel. They moved carefully through the strange biomechanical corridors, weapons ready. The ship felt both mechanical and alive, with surfaces that pulsed like breathing tissue. In the Vaxari ship's control center, they found data terminals still active. Wright ordered her team to download everything they could while she explored further. In what appeared to be a command section, she discovered a Vaxari officer still alive but incapacitated. "We've found their communication system," reported a tech specialist. "It connects to something called the Dominion Network." "Can we access it?" Wright asked. "Yes, Captain. Their security is down due to the EMP." Wright made another bold decision. Download their star charts and tactical information, and set up a channel to broadcast a message to their entire fleet. Back on Earth, Admiral Boyd coordinated the defense of the remaining colonies. Reports showed the Vaxari retreat continuing, but she knew they could return with reinforcements. When she received word of Captain Wright's boarding action, she immediately contacted the Intrepid Asterisk. "What exactly are you planning, Captain?" she asked over the secure channel. "Something they won't expect," Wright replied. Dr. Carter analyzed their communication data. "The Vaxari have conquered hundreds of species, but they've always followed the same pattern. They've never faced a species that could truly fight back." On the Vaxari dreadnought, Supreme Commander Ozarax struggled to maintain control as damage reports flooded in. The humans had done the unthinkable. They had crippled his flagship and forced a retreat. "We must return to Dominion space for repairs," Sylar advised. "Then we can bring a larger fleet." Before Ozarax could respond, every communication screen on the ship suddenly displayed an image of a human female in a captain's uniform. "This is Captain Samantha Wright of Earth," she said, her voice translated by the systems the boarding team had hacked. "Your attack on our world has failed. Unlike other species you've conquered, humans will never surrender." Ozarax watched in shock as the human continued. "We have accessed your network and star charts. Even now, Earth ships are being prepared to take this fight to your worlds if you continue your aggression. This is your only warning." The message ended, leaving the command deck in stunned silence. "They cannot reach our worlds," Tyler said uncertainly. "Their ships have no wormhole technology." "Are you certain?" Ozarax asked. "They used Jupiter's gravity in ways we never anticipated. They adapted our own technology against us." He stared at the now dark screen. "In all my centuries, I have never seen such resourcefulness." For 3 days, the Vaxari fleet held position at the edge of the solar system. Then, without explanation, they activated their wormholes and disappeared. On the Intrepid Asterisk, now docked at Earth's orbital station for repairs, Captain Wright received the news with cautious optimism. "Will they return?" Admiral Boyd asked her. "Eventually," Wright answered honestly. "But next time, we'll be ready. We're expanding our fleet using the technology we captured." She looked out at the stars. "The Vaxari thought we would be an easy conquest. Now they know better." Far across the galaxy, the Vaxari Council updated their records with a designation never used before. "Humans, approach with extreme caution."